Hi, wonderful people. Danielle here. I am super excited to announce that I am one of the panelists over at the Neurodiversity and Harmony Summit, which is a virtual summit for empowered parenting. And it is happening on March 7th, 2025, from 9:30 in the morning until 1:15 in the afternoon. That is in Mountain Time. I will be talking all about co-regulation in parenting, but we have 13 guests speaking about all different topics. There's really something for everyone, and I hope that you will check it out. It is free to sign up, and my link is below to do that. Today, I am dropping a very brief podcast I did with the founder and host of the summit, Samantha Foote. Samantha had me over at her podcast, the Every Brain is Different podcast, to talk a little bit more about my topic and what you can get out of coming to my sections of the summit anyway. Have a listen to learn about how you can use co-regulation as a parent to support your kiddo and yourself just a little better. Without further ado, here's me and Samantha.
Welcome to a special episode of the Every Brain is Different podcast. I am here with Danielle Sullivan, and she has been on the podcast before. I really appreciate your time. And even more exciting is you are going to be a panelist at the Neurodiversity and Harmony Summit. So I'm super excited about that. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself? And then during the summit, you're going to be presenting about co-regulation. So maybe just give us a little bit about that, what you're going to be talking about in your 20-minute deep dive into that.
Sure. Hi, Samantha. Thank you so much for having me back on. I'm really excited to be on this panel. So thank you for having me. I am talking all about co-regulation for my 20-minute. And co-regulation is this word that I think gets flung around a lot and sounds very complicated. And I work with parents a lot who get caught up with what it means and how to do it. Basically, co-regulation is just how two people balance each other out emotionally. So if you have any two people, it can be parent kid, they can be people in a romantic relationship, they can be, any friends. And you know how one person gets upset or even too excited and the other person kind of brings them back down and they just take turns. That's co-regulation. That's all it is. But with neurodivergent kids, often we see that self-regulation, being able to handle your own emotions, develops a little later than with neurotypical kids. Not always, but often. And parents then are co-regulating for longer and exhausting themselves sometimes about it. And also are sometimes not sure how to support their kid learning self-regulation skills in the best possible way. And so what the 20-minute panel is just not so much all the theory and the stuff that people get caught up on, but the practical, how do you freaking do this thing? How do you support your kid to learn regulation skills in a way that will help them into their future? And how do you keep yourself sane as a parent who's putting a lot of energy to this while you're doing it? Like, how do you make that co-regulation relationship more balanced instead of you being the one who's always correcting, for lack of a better word, the kiddo, right? How do you even it out a little bit more? So that's what we'll be doing.
That sounds amazing because when you were talking, it reminded me of when I was in college. I had a best friend, and it was so funny because whenever one of us was angry, the other one knew that they couldn't be angry too because we couldn't
Yeah.
have two angry people, but we both knew that. And
Mhm.
so it was easier to co-regulate because if I was angry, she's like, well, it's not my turn to be angry, so I'm going to help her be less angry, and I'm just going to support her through her
Mhm.
angriness. And
Yeah.
but when you have a partner that you're co-regulating with that doesn't understand that, it can be exhausting. It can be
Mhm.
so exhausting to just constantly be having to regulate to their emotions
Mhm.
and not be able to have them like have that synchronous relationship, I guess. Like they don't
Yeah.
understand, like they don't care how you're regulating.
Mhm.
They have no, I guess they do care. Like my kids do care if I'm upset, but they don't know what to do with that.
Exactly. And they might just not have the skills yet, right? Maybe older teens will have a level of emotional intelligence, we hope. But younger kids, not just like the little babies, but even kids who are 8, 9, 10, 12, who are kind of capable humans in lots of ways, haven't developed those skills of their own emotional regulation. And they also are still learning emotional intelligence, like being able to understand when people are upset, why they're upset, how to tell they're upset, if their upset is like quote unquote reasonable. Like all those skills are things you learn. They're not innate in most of us anyway. Parents have a big load, or caretakers in general have a big load in balancing not just our emotions, which are often stress, neurodivergent kids, but often for our kids too, balancing their emotions and helping them figure all that out. It's a big load for us. And it's really easy for it to get unbalanced. We want to be able to teach kids to understand our feelings as well as their feelings and know what to do. The kids are not responsible for our dysregulation as parents, right? They're not responsible for keeping us balanced. That's not their job. But they will need to be able to co-regulate with humans in the wider world as they grow, right? They're going to have their own friends. They're going to grow up and have romantic partners. They're going to have their own kids. They're going to need to be able to know, like you and your friend do, like when it's time to step back and have it not be about you, and when it's time to give the other person space to feel those feels. And that's a skill set we can teach them. And we can teach it while we're co-regulating with them, so that often they'll pick up those self-regulation skills faster, and you'll be co-regulating for not quite as long or not as intensely, which is nice as a parent of two relatively dysregulatable kids. Myself, we just want to be really practical about it. You know, we want to just know, like, okay, parents are busy, they're stressed, they only have a couple minutes a day maybe to execute on some of the stuff they're learning. You know, what are quick, easy, fast things that they can do? I know quick and fast are the same thing. What can they do right now that's really going to make a difference in their kiddos' lives and the parents' lives, and if there are any parenting partners they may have? That's really the goal of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So if you're listening to this and you want to hear Danielle's 20-minute training about co-regulation and how to relieve some of that pressure from co-regulation, you can go to everybrainisdifferent.com and sign up for the summit. The trainings are part of the VIP package, so that does cost some money, but the summit is free to come and hear you speak. So Danielle will be speaking for 5 minutes, and she will be hosting a 30-minute breakout room where you can come and answer questions, and all of that is free. But once again, the information can be found at everybrainisdifferent.com, and I am looking forward to it. So thank you for coming on the show, Danielle.
Thank you for having me. You should all come. It's going to be so much fun. I'm really looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Thanks so much again to Samantha for allowing me to share this audio here on my feed. Again, this original audio comes from the Every Brain is Different podcast, which you can find wherever you stream your podcast. And Samantha is a wonderful host and has some really good resources over there. So please go check it out. And again, if you are interested in joining us over at the summit, you can watch everything for free. You just have to pre-register at the link down below. It's everybrainisdifferent.com/Danielle. Again, that's everybrainisdifferent.com/Danielle, Danielle. I would be so thrilled to see you there, and look forward to new neurodiverging episodes coming next month. I'm so thrilled to get those back going. Thanks so much.